I'm Bobby J. Welcome back to the channel. Behind me here, we got a wounded duck. Now, she came limping in on me one evening. My dad called me and said, stuttering, something's not right with it. I'm heading to your place. I said, okay, come over here, switch trucks. So he limped her in and grabbed the 04 and off he went. And so this right here, this is a primo unit. This is a 2002 6-speed HO factory sport, full leather, completely loaded. This is arguably the best you could get in 2002 if you were ordering a Dodge diesel dually to go tow and haul with. We've got a couple of codes to deal with. Is the first issue. One is a VP44 timing related code, an 0216. And the other one is a code associated with the accelerator pedal position sensors. That one should hopefully be pretty simple, especially being the 6-speed. But we got a fuel issue. I think the two death codes for a VP44 is a 1688. If you get that, you're done. An 0216, you can get that and still have an okay VP if you ran her low on fuel. This truck here, go through some specs on it. It is pretty much stock. It's still got the stock lift pump in it. It's still got stock fuel filter. In fact, the only performance adder in this truck is a set of EDM Mach 1 65 horse injectors. Does anybody even know what those are anymore? That was hot about 15 years ago. Yeah, Mach 1s. Just a little, but boy, what did they wake this truck up though? 65 horse injectors, what a difference it made. So she's sitting about 310 horse approximately. So back to this truck right here. This is a primo unit. You know what? This truck goes way back. A lot of history with this one. This one hasn't been in the channel very much at all. A couple of episodes back, you saw me running with the him in this, and I was in the 04. We were chasing after a 3-point implement. That was really the first appearance that this truck had really had in the channel. My dad bought this one in the summer of 2005. 19 years he's owned this truck. He's a Chevy guy. And I bought my 01 first when I was 18 years old, and he was so impressed with that truck, he bought this one a year later when it popped up at the same dealership, and it fit the bill. It checked all the boxes, everything that he wanted. He liked the stick, he liked that it was all black, he drives black trucks. So there's a lot of sentimental value in my 01, and which I call the retired rig, and this 02. This one ain't no retired rig. He runs the snot out of this one, and that's why we got to get to it and fix it. Now, speaking of running the snot out of it, you'll see she's kind of a mess. Well, that kind of sums up our summer and our spring that we've had. Dirt everywhere, smashed bug carcasses all over everything, and we even got an eyeball hanging out the side of it. Well, finally, now it's time to get caught up here a little bit and get this thing put back together. But yeah, so we got a little bit of a list here of what's got to be done to this truck. First thing is a bath. This poor thing, I don't even want to touch it. I want to get it cleaned up. I don't want to scratch it. It's actually got some halfway decent paint. It has been repainted. So there's a decent coat of paint underneath all this dirt and bug grime. First thing, install a new lift pump. Second thing is change the APPS, put a new one of those in. Hopefully then that takes care of the two codes. Next is fixing a broken mirror. And then we got to fix the falling out eyeball here. We're going to put a new set of headlights and corners in. Transmission service. I did the transmission at about 100,000 miles. I put AMS oil synchromesh in it. Unfortunately, she hasn't been changed in 160 more thousand miles. My fault. It's been in here a few times. For whatever reason, it's come and went out of the shop a couple of times without getting it done. No more excuses. It's time to put some fresh synchro mesh in this thing. It needs it. And the tire shop, he's got a fresh set of rubber on here. Tire shop said the passenger side front wheel bearings were has a little bit of play. We're going to investigate that. Maybe have to throw a unit bearing setup on there real quick. Other than that, I think we'll be good to go. Get this truck put back together, head it out, and I want my 04 back. So we got everything kind of laid out here from hardest to easiest pretty much. I always like to try to start with the hard stuff. This is the AirDog Raptor and everything that comes with it. We're going to start out with that. Then we've got, this is a big line kit that goes from the fuel filter over to the VP44 itself. Fuel filter, of course, throw that in while we're at it. Headlights, got a set of new headlamps for this truck, actual sport style, because this is a true sport. This right here, this little critter, this is the APPS. Yep, there it is. We'll do that next. That should take care of all of our runnability issues and get us back on the road regarding that. This one should be dead last. Boy, this is easy. This is just a stick-on mirror replacement for the good old-fashioned Dodge tow mirror. And I've actually, as cheesy as it might sound, I've had good luck with just getting the $15 stick-on mirror. You don't even hardly notice it's there, and it's worked fine. So, this right here, this is emergency park brake release. This one's been broken in this truck for quite a while. This is a genuine Mopar part. You'll be happy to have that installed. Trying to get the parking brake underneath there released. Valvoline synchro mesh. You can see I'm not going with fancy Redline or Amsoil or Royal Purple. I know guys like to run that stuff. That's actually what's in this truck right now is Amsoil, and like I say, it's been in there for a very long time, unfortunately. This is like 12 bucks a quart. This is probably, don't quote me, but it's probably, I'm just gonna guess, probably half the cost of those fancy dancy boutique oils. And I would rather just change it more often and run a good old product like Valvoline than a boutique oil that you try to get your money's worth by running it longer. And then we've got some Valvoline transfer case fluid as compared to just using ATF4. I don't know, they had it, it was the same price. It says transfer case on it, let's use it for the transfer case. So there we go. Let's start with the Raptor pump and get that put in first. Okay, first up is getting this Raptor pump installed. Now, I have the fast DDRP on my 01, and it's pretty easy installation. This looks like it's pretty much about the same, pretty straightforward. Now, you might be thinking, why are you messing with those high performance pumps that go in the stock location? Well, there's a couple of reasons why. Set these over here. Well, and one of them being is ease of installation. You know, you can't beat that. How are we doing on? Oh yeah, we need some of that. Okay. An easier install's, you know, always nicer than a harder install, of course, but the big thing is cost. It's quite a bit cheaper. The other factor, come on. Oh. The installation is actually a lot easier because the thing is I know, especially like my dad, he is not going to want to be bothered with things like cavitation, fuel cavitation, or air cavitation, you know, at a quarter of a tank. He is not, he's not going to appreciate that. So then, you know, you got, I'm not real sure on all the options. I know the big one is go to the sump. Well, that's a lot of fun doing that sump. I haven't done one yet. Probably one day though. And you know, you gotta get the truck low on fuel, and you think it's low on fuel, but then you go and drill a hole and you dump 5 gallons of diesel out onto your face. So like I said, I'll be done with this pretty much in about the same amount of time or less it would take to install the sump itself. So, and the other thing is the longevity factor. You know what? I've seen some guys have some problems with the pump on the fast unit too, or air dog unit down on the frame rail. So I don't know. We're going to try this. May wind up and eventually go to the real fast. But for now, this will do. I mean, maybe on the 04. Maybe when that lift pump goes out, maybe I'll do it on that. But you know what though? That's not quite so easy, because the 04, the 03, 04 common rails, they don't quite have the same problems they used to, because these, you know, barely supply enough fuel for a stock pump. 400 horse, I think that it can do 400 horse, because I mean, I don't have any fuel pressure issues on mine. Alright, I want the fuel. I don't really have any fuel pressure issues in my 04, and that little lift pump, so I mean, obviously in the common rail trucks, that little factory mounted on the side of the block pump that is like this, obviously that moves a little bit more fuel than these VP44 trucks. So I don't know, you can still get those pumps new from Gino's Garage. I might still go that route on the 04. All right, let's see here. We got that loose there. We need a 17 mil. My DDRP, now I have had some trouble though. I am on, what am I on? The third one. I have not been impressed. I would not, that's why I bought the Raptor this time for this truck. Some people try to say the Raptor pump was a better pump than the I guess now they call it the DRP, excuse me. It used to be Dodge Direct Replacement Pump. Now it's just Direct Replacement Pump. Yeah, had some trouble with mine. But as far as fuel, I have no complaints. I pulled the hill with 20,000 pounds behind that truck with it turned up pretty good, and never dropped below like 10, even 11 pounds. So fuel flow is not the issue. It's getting the life, the reliability out of that pump. That's the biggest issue. So hopefully this Raptor, crossing my fingers, maybe this Raptor will be a little bit better. The fuel filtration issue, I have no complaints with the fuel filtration of the stock filter. I think on a VP truck, I think it's fine. Maybe I better be careful with what I say. Now, are you gonna let me in back here? Or are we gonna have to go get a different saquito? I think we may have to get a different saquito. Whoa. There we go. There she is. There's the dirty little fella. Okay, now, a bunch of you are gonna laugh at me for this, but I don't care. I just broke open this bag and I smell real diesel in here. Oh, the sweet smell of real diesel. Out here in California, in communist California, we just have now this R99 stuff. It's not diesel, it's R99 stuff. And oh man, oh, that's a good smell. And that R99, it stinks. Smells like you just sent a French fryer load of oil down through your fuel system and out the exhaust. Oh man. Okay. Since we've got the fuel filter housing out, might as well get this done right now. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, she's a little dirty. Not too bad. All right, let's go grab the new one. All right. Fresh fuel filter. Now I notice fuel fresher, the fuel fresher, you know, the fuel pressure sitting unit here is up, tapped into the lid. Used to do this like 15, 20 years ago. And we'll see. I want to see, just as a comparison in the cab, what the fuel pressure gauge says once we get all this stuff in. But I may then put a plug in this and move this into the big line kit in between the VP44 and the fuel filter. All right. Now, the heck was that? Gee. You know you're getting old when you hear stuff like that and you're like, pipe that down. I don't want to listen to that. Okay. There's one factory fitting. Woo. Yeah, that's a good spot. Okay. All right. Put that little fella in right there. Come on now. There we go. Okay. Okay, we got our Raptor pump installed right down there, right behind the fuel filter. Fuel filter, we got a big line going, there it is, from the Raptor going into the fuel filter, then coming out of the fuel filter, there it is, coming over into the VP44. Now, I left this loose. In fact, yeah, it's real loose. Let's try to get this. There we go. We're gonna bleed the air out right there. So let me do the key trick real quick. See if we can get this thing to run for us. See if we can get some fuel to start coming out. Oh yeah, I hear it. Oh, there we go. Fuel, lots of fuel. Perfect. Here goes. Ha. Let's close the door. That is hard on these trucks. There we go. How do you like that? 18 pounds. That's what we've been looking for. Remind that it was over there at what, 7.5? Let her warm up a little bit here before I throw the fuel at her. This truck is throaty, man. Almost need to check for an exhaust leak. You think when it sounds a little too good, that means you got an exhaust leak. We are warming up, we're in the crown. All right, let's see what she can do. Full throttle. 12 pounds. 11.5 pounds. 11 pounds. Okay, 90 miles an hour. Let's slow down. Exhaust brake. Woo! Oh. All right, we're 1350 on the pyro. I think we hit 10 PSI. Alright, let her cool down just a little bit. Thermostat's open. Well, not bad. Now we got some fuel pressure. And I would say it's pretty safe to say, what the heck's going on up here? What? I'm being attacked. Oh, poor girl. Okay, add some windshield wipers to the list. Knock one thing off, add another. Well, that is a sight for sore eyes. I have been on him about the fuel pressure of this truck. That's the most fuel pressure this truck has ever had its entire life, which is not a surprise. But the crazy part is this truck hasn't seen more than 10 PSI in probably 10 years. So the return, that VP is returning fuel for the first time in a decade. Yeah, try to rag on the old VP44, but it's not a bad pump, really. Not a bad pump, especially when you got the correct amount of fuel pressure. But I would say this one's probably okay, and man, good to see that finally that needle way over where it should be. Okay, well, next on the list, let's keep moving along. All right, sliding around in the good old gravel here, but I don't care. I am a mobile mechanic, not a shop mechanic. You know, there's two types of mechanics, and some guys can do both really well, but you do have shop mechanics and you got mobile guys. I'm more of a mobile guy. That's why I like my trucks and everything. I'll take the shop to the problem, not bring the problem to the shop. So I don't mind being out on the gravel. I'm used to it. And the other thing, it's nice. There we go. We got oil flowing. The other thing that's nice about doing it not on the blacktop or concrete is I'm notorious for spilling oil. I can never change any oil without making a freaking mess. It's a curse. So at least out here, I don't have to worry about it. Oh. There we go. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Look at this stuff in the sunlight here. A little bit pearly. Ugh. That's some pretty nasty stuff. Jeez. There she goes. Man. Huh. Actually doesn't look that bad, surprisingly enough. Yeah. Huh. That doesn't look all that bad. Open differential. She definitely doesn't have any kind of a limited slip, but that's all right. Okay. Now, everything appears to be identical. So we're going to put this right back. Now these little screws, man, these things were in there. I got them broke loose by hand, but I wound up and had to use the small impact because I couldn't get them all the way out. There it is, right there. Okay. Now, there we go. Now, I've done a few of these, and you notice I put it right back in the same exact spot. And I could check voltage and make sure it's supposed to be like what, 5.4 volts or something like that. But I've never had one not have the correct voltage as long as it's put back where the original one was. So I'm going for it. I'm putting it back together. Okay, yeah, found this one at a wrecking yard and thought, score, got it for pretty cheap. There we go. Yeah, apparently they reach a certain age and they start getting pretty brittle. That's what the problem is. And the second one broke pretty quick. So let's get this to cooperate. There we go. What the heck is that all about? Why was that installed upside down? Okay, I had to get where the camera was. All right, there it is. Got the retainer clip installed. There it is. All right, on to the next. 1, 4. Like it never happened. Now, yeah, a new set of mirrors would be nice. Don't disagree. Maybe even the Fortune style. That's what all the cool kids are going to now anyway. But, you know what? For 15 bucks, this is like the third one I've done. And the first two are still stuck on there. And you can't hardly tell, really. So, for now, that'll get her done. Well, so here's the situation. The old Fortune bumper swap makes this not quite so simple to get these out of here, these headlamps, because the factory bumper is designed where you can slip them out and change them without taking off the front bumper. Oh, that one broke. Come on, baby. There we go. So I've loosened all the bolts on the bumper, and we're gonna see what happens here. If I can get this out of here. Okay. That's all broken back here. Extra Vision, Sylvania Extra Visions. Nothing fancy. No LEDs that blind everybody else that are on the road. I hate that. We're gonna throw a fresh bulb in the corner lamp, corner marker. There we go. Okay. Yeah, there's no play in this front unit hub assembly. Guy at the tire shop didn't know what he was talking about. Okay, check that off the list. Now this is pretty good. New headlights. I like them. Smoked. Then to match the cab roof lights, they're also smoked. So not bad. Kind of got a pretty good look going on with this truck. There it is. Boy, we punched out quite a few things. And one thing I should have mentioned is going in the rear end, I went with Valvoline 75-140 full synthetic. That's what we put back in that differential. So this truck should be in good shape. We've got transmission oil changed, finally. Last time I changed the transmission oil on that was 19 years ago. So it's good to see that stuff come out of there. And 19 years and 160,000 miles ago. Transfer case, rear end, 3 oils all changed. We've got the Raptor fuel pump. We'll see how that hangs in there. We got fantastic fuel pressure combined with the big line kit, a fresh fuel filter, of course. What else did we get done? We got a new APPS put in there. We got new headlights. We got a new park brake release lever. We got a broken mirror repaired. That was the big one right there. Windshield wipers, air filter. Well, and I think that comes pretty darn close to covering it. Oh, we checked out that front unit hub bearing, nothing going on there. Brakes look pretty good in this truck. Topped off the coolant. I think it's ready to go. We got harvest coming up, and I think he can power through harvest without much issue. So thanks for following. Thanks for letting me introduce you to this 2002. It's a pretty sweet truck. And we'll see you on the next one. Hey, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. See ya. Bonus round. Some new taillights that have been in the box for like 4 years. But hey, they work. Look pretty good.